Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update, sponsored by Tax Network USA, America's #1 choice for tax resolution. Please go to tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. VP debate, the new Cajun Navy, Iran's missiles, and a teacher wins in court. That's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, the first and only vice presidential debate, and probably the last debate of its kind, was last night. The moderator stole the show again, starting off saying, we're not going to do any fact-checking, and then proceeding multiple times to do fact-checking, but in an even more cowardly and smug way than the last debate. At the end of nearly every topic, they'd throw in everyone knows that climate change is real. Anyway, moving on. Walz totally embarrassed himself. As the kids say these days, secondhand embarrassment. Cringe about lying when he was in China. He said, for a 3-minute answer, I've not been perfect and I'm a knucklehead at times. All shocks. Unfortunately, there was no pressing as to why he went to China 30 times. The Hurricane Helene death toll rises to at least 162, making Helene the second deadliest mainland U.S. hurricane in the past 50 years. The deadliest was Katrina back in 2005. That killed 1,833 people. If you remember, during Hurricane Katrina, there was just regular people, regular citizens stepping up to go rescue people on whatever boat, whatever thing that floated they could find. They called themselves, or people came to know them as, the Cajun Navy. Well, in North Carolina, there's the private helicopter army. They call it Operation Airdrop. It's 37 so far volunteers from Texas to Maine showing up to fly their own private helicopters. One of the main volunteers, a retired Marine himself, calls them the Redneck Marines. Now that the leadership of Hezbollah has been pretty much eliminated, Iran decided to launch over 200 ballistic missiles into Israel. Most of them intercepted, but some landed. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Iran made a big mistake tonight, and it will pay for it. You've heard of the Iron Dome? That attacks in midair these short-range missiles that are fired into Israel. But the bigger missiles that travel higher and have longer ranges, they need to be stopped by something called David's Sling. Back in 2018, a Virginia teacher refused to use the preferred pronouns of a transgender student. The teacher was fired. Well, he sued, and the Alliance for Defending Freedom defended him. The teacher won. He was just awarded $575,000. I'm Mike Slater for the podcast Politics by Faith. The great Bill O'Reilly, he has your message of the day. Next.
Are you feeling the impact of recent timeshare industry changes? Now more than ever, the costs of timeshare ownership far outweigh the benefits. My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you get out. Our listeners' positive feedback demonstrates why I've supported the company for years. For more than a decade, they have helped over 20,000 owners get out of the timeshare. Their exclusive options can help you get out faster and easier, more than any other option in the country. They are the only company that will give you a written guarantee and release you from your timeshare in a specific time frame. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews, customer service is their top priority. For free consultation and a guaranteed solution, please call 855-551-7066. That's 855-551-7066, or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Wednesday, Senator Vance and Governor Walz will not have much impact on the vote come November. Both men were selected to be loyal to the top of the ticket. The party faithful might like them, but most Americans have no idea who they are, even after watching the debate. In American history, many vice presidents who took over the main job were ridiculous. Think Andrew Johnson, John Tyler, Chester A. Arthur. No, he's not a rapper. Theodore Roosevelt and Calvin Coolidge performed fairly well as presidents, but Lyndon Johnson was a disaster for the country. In fact, the extent of LBJ's corruption actually surprised me while we were researching Confronting the Presidents, my new bestseller. These days, the best and brightest politicians rarely get offered the vice presidency lest they outshine the top of the ticket. That is not a good situation for the country. In the end, the vote will come down to personal preferences. Vice President Harris is not a problem solver and will govern far to the left. Donald Trump will not moderate his presentation and is likely to duplicate his first rodeo. So the choice is fairly clear, and the two vice presidential nominees will not have much to do with it. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Let's go to the mail. We got Patrick. I agree Donald Trump could win with a small tad of humility, but we know he will not do that. And he has to learn he can't say anything in jest, can't joke around. Even when he reads from a teleprompter, he sounds angry. He is angry. Donald Trump is angry, and he has a right to be. The second most persecuted president in history next to Abraham Lincoln. And again, confronting the presidents will back that up. Mike, concierge member, O'Reilly, you're right about the presidency. It's been outsourced to ardent progressives who have been calling the shots throughout Biden's term and will continue with Harris. No doubt about it. Kamala Harris will not call shots if she is elected president. James, question. It seems to me that the country is divided and people do not respect others who have differing views. That is true, generally speaking. Due to this lack of respect, many people are not open and don't discuss issues of the day. Will that change? No. Not with the media that we have, from social media. And that letter comes to us from Jim Millard in Yokosuka, Japan, where you don't have a divided society. It's very homogenous there in Yokosuka. I haven't been to Yokosuka, but been to Kyoto and Tokyo, and very interesting. Jim Poland, Andover, Connecticut. Is it true President Biden is rejecting some forms of federal aid for North Carolina's flooding? I don't have any evidence, as I reported. If some surfaces, then I'll absolutely report it, but there's no evidence right now. Elizabeth, Bill, I know there are tens of millions of voters who don't know anything. I know this because you and I were both teachers. You know, my students, I drag them into reality somewhat, most of them. In a moment, something you might not know. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. America is at a breaking point. Record inflation, interest rates, debt. The last thing we need is more reckless government spending and higher taxes, and they could happen. But a Harris presidency could bring us into that zone, plus a hit to your retirement savings. So protect your savings with American Hartford Gold. They'll help you secure your retirement by diversifying with physical gold and silver. Start with a simple phone call. They'll guide you through the process, even deliver gold and silver right to your door, or place it directly in your IRA or 401k. Don't wait. These safe haven assets can protect you in an economic crisis. Call or text American Hartford Gold today. Tell them O'Reilly sent you to get up to $15,000 of free silver on qualifying orders. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 105 years ago today, President Woodrow Wilson suffered a catastrophic stroke. Despite the near-fatal incident, his condition was concealed from the general public and most politicians. Here is the story. After World War I, Wilson traversed the country to gain support for America's entry into the League of Nations, a precursor to the United Nations. During the 8,000-mile journey, Wilson complained of severe headaches and blurred vision. On October 2nd, 1919, the president collapsed inside the executive mansion. White House doctors, under orders from First Lady Edith Wilson, told no one. Unable to speak or even move much, Woodrow Wilson was rushed to his private room, where he remained for weeks. While bedridden, Edith Wilson, the First Lady, screened the paperwork. She even signed Woodrow's name on official documents. Information to the public was very limited. No one was allowed to see the commander-in-chief. For the next 17 months, the remainder of his second term, all communication with President Wilson was channeled through his wife. Woodrow Wilson never recovered. He was partially paralyzed for the rest of his life and died 5 years after leaving the White House at the age of 67. And here's something else you might not know. While Woodrow Wilson successfully guided America to victory during World War I, his death laid the groundwork for another catastrophic conflict. Without Wilson's support, the United States never joined the League of Nations and embraced a period of isolationism. The League was unable to thwart the rise of fascism in Europe without America's participation. Said Wilson before his death, quote, "The League of Nations is now in crisis, and if it fails, I hate to think what will happen to the world." Well, we all know what happened. Hitler, Mussolini, World War II. For more fascinating stories about America's chief executives, please check out my #1 book, Confronting the Presidents. Back after this. Is your finance software not cutting it? Check out Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card and spend management software designed to help you save time and money. Ramp gives finance teams unprecedented control and insight into expenses. With Ramp, you're able to issue cards to every employee with limits and restrictions and automate expense reporting so you can stop wasting time at the end of every month. Ramp is very easy to use, saves you money whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. Businesses save an average of 5% the first year. Right now, you can get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/no-spin. Ramp.com/no-spin. Please note, cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC, terms and conditions apply. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.